NFL teams are always proposing new rules for the league to vote on. This year, 6 new rules were approved. Here's how each of them works. The first new rule is to never talk about Fight Club. Oh, and there's also no overtime in the preseason. Any games that are tied at the end of regulation will just end in a tie, because it's preseason, no one cares. The kickoff used to be the most dangerous play in football, so in 2018, they created a few new rules to make them more parent-approved. The biggest two were that the kicking team couldn't have a running start, and the receiving team needed to keep at least 8 players in this nifty little box called the setup zone. These rules worked and kickoffs became a lot safer, but safer also means a lot less drama, especially on onside kicks, which dropped from a success rate of 19% to 8%. Unfortunately, the NFL loves drama more than The Bachelor, so something had to give. The newest rule says you can't have more than 9 players in the setup zone, which teams have been stacking with 10 players. Will one less player make a difference? Probably not, but they're desperate for ideas. Every NFL fan has been saying for years that they want the officials more involved in the games, and the NFL listened. The replay official can now chime in when it's obvious that the officials in the field made an oopsie. On-field officials can consult with replay officials if there are specific, objective aspects of a play when clear and obvious video evidence is present. And they can review for any of the following. By the way, these plays are still challengeable, but coaches might not be so quick to throw the flag if there's a chance the replay official steps in. This next rule is a little odd and probably won't make that big of a difference since it's been an issue in exactly one game since 2015 when it became a thing. In week 2 of 2019, the Broncos had just scored a touchdown to come within 1 of the Bears. The Broncos obviously had 2 options here: kick it from 15 yards for 1 point or try for a 2-point conversion from 2 yards out. The Broncos decided to go for 2, but they were called for a delay of game which backed them up 5 yards. So rather than go from 2 from 7 yards away, they decided to kick it. The kicker shanked it so badly it wouldn't have been good from 5 yards. But wait, the Bears jumped off sides, which means the Broncos get their 5 yards back. You would think that that would mean both options, kicking or going for the 2-point conversion, would be back at their original spots, on the 15 and 2-yard line. But nope. While the kick would be from its original spot at the 15, they can elect to take the penalty from the 2-yard line if they go for 2, which would be half the distance to the goal, meaning they go from the 1-yard line. This basically means the first penalty the Broncos committed never even happened, which makes exactly 0 sense. The new rule makes it so that's not a thing anymore, and penalties happen the same way that they always do. They also made a slight change to the penalty for an illegal second forward pass. Instead of just losing 5 yards, you'll lose 5 yards and a down. Another new rule that the NFL has put into place this season is you have to subscribe to the numbers behind in order to continue to watch football. It's crazy. I don't know how they're going to track that or what the protocol is there, but it's the rule and you have to do it. So please subscribe. To the delight of Tom Brady, the NFL increased the jersey numbers available to skill position players. Specific positions have designated numbers since there are different rules for each position. For example, an offensive lineman by default is not eligible to catch a pass, but by brushing some crumbs off his shirt, he reports to the official he is an eligible receiver, who then announces it over the mic so the other team knows. Now, Brady is concerned you won't know who to block, which... what? College players seem to be able to figure it out okay, and even without jersey numbers, you'd think you'd be able to distinguish the difference between a linebacker and a defensive back, since they are on average about 3 inches and 40 pounds different. But I know where Tom's coming from. I used to get Luke Kuechly and Richard Sherman confused all the time. Thank heavens for the numbers. Don't expect a lot of jersey number changes this year, though. The NFL has an existing rule in place that forces players to buy out inventory of their current jersey number if they change it for the upcoming season. For a player like Dalvin Cook, who looked into changing his number for next season from 33 to 4, the cost was $1.5 million. That's 75% of the cash he's due this year from the Vikings, so he elected to pass on that. Most jersey number changes probably won't happen until 2022, since players can make the change a season in advance without any penalty. These new rules come on the heels of the scheduling changes the league made earlier this year, which include reducing the number of preseason games from 4 to 3 and adding a 17th regular season game. And all of this is just 1 year after the NFL expanded the playoffs from 12 teams to 14, creating 2 additional playoff games, which are estimated to make the NFL around $150 million every year. And of course, we all know, the NFL loves making money more than anything else.